let me let you into a little secret. The BMW M2 Competition is my very favourite car that BMW currently makes. And here are the 5 reasons why. Number 1, the performance. The M2 Competition features the same twin-turbo 6-cylinder petrol from the M4. Only in this, guys, it produces 410 brake horsepower, which is enough for a 0 to 62 mph time of 4.2 seconds. I don't think the performance is over the top. It's got just the right amount of power to make it manageable on the UK roads. A lot of cars these days are screwing so much power out of cars that when you're driving them every single day, you're using 5%, 10% maybe of that capability. But this, no, you can use pretty much every single ounce of that power. Oh, and it's addictive. It is addictive. Fantastic. Number 2, that engine. Now I know that I've already touched on performance, but it's the character of that engine up the front which really excites. When you just give it a little bit of a tickle, you can feel it vibrate through the back of the seat and the steering wheel. It feels like the engine is directly bolted to the bottom of your spine and it just tingles. Now, it's going to be very controversial, but we've all heard James May talk about the fizz, and this engine really gives me the fizz. Number 3, the looks. I adore the way that the M2 Competition looks. The front end is so purposeful and aggressive without being over the top. The joint kidney grills down here with the signature M double slats are a thing of beauty. You've got the larger air intakes down here as well, which just adds so much drama. I think it's just a beautifully proportioned car. From the front all the way to the back, I don't think I'd change a single thing on this car. We've now got the signature double M mirrors, and around the back we've got those quad tailpipes and the BMW M2 Competition model designation. But I just think it has a real subtle aggression to it. It's got an awful lot of road presence as well. It just looks absolutely stunning from every single angle, in my opinion. As I say, I don't think I'd change a single thing on this car, but if you did want a little bit more aggression, you can opt for the carbon fibre M Performance body kit, which is front splitter, side skirts, a full DTM rear wing. But all in all, wonderful, wonderful looking little car. Number 4 is attitude. Now, every single car that you get into and drive has a very different personality, and this just has a real boisterous attitude about it. The way that it turns, the way that it steers, and that boisterous engine, it's a thug, and I love that. I absolutely love that. Everything. You don't weave this car elegantly from corner to corner. You don't stitch it together like an embroidered piece of silk. No, you attack those corners. You really get involved with the car. You feel like you're one with the machine, and it just rewards you when you get it right. It's simply sensational, this thing. Simply sensational. The steering response is spot on. The weight is perfect. Now, it does change depending whether if you're in comfort mode or if you're in Sport Plus mode. It does get heavier in Sport Plus, but I think my favourite setting is just comfort mode, because it's nice and light, but you can still feel everything through your fingertips. I can feel the texture of this road, and this being the UK, it's quite broken and potholey, but the car just handles it beautifully. It doesn't skip around on the road. It just feels really, really planted, and it just, I mean, you need to experience one of these. I thought the previous M2 was good, but the Competition has just raised the bar again. And finally, number 5, I love this car's simplicity. Some of the other M products, like the M5 for example, are just littered with buttons everywhere on the cabin. You've got a million different settings for the suspension, for the drivetrain. You've got all sorts. You could sit in the car all day and configure it. Whereas with the M2, BMW have kept it very simple. Yes, you do get the 7-speed DCT automatic transmission, which is an option. To be fair, you can get this car with a good old-fashioned 6-speed manual, and let me tell you from experience, that gearbox is phenomenal. But they haven't littered the cabin with just a smattering of buttons. You've got your M1 and you've got your M2 buttons, which are signature BMW M product. I mean, down in the centre, there's just not a plethora of buttons, and I don't want that. I don't want the middle here just to be almost machine gunned with buttons that do 1,000,001 different things, and you've got different characteristics with the car. But no, you've got 3 settings. Really? You've got Sport, Comfort and Sport Plus. End. It's kept simple. You don't have to spend 3 hours programming these buttons to try and find where you want it to be. You don't go, oh, you know what, I like Sport Plus on that, I'll have my dampers as Comfort, I'll have... No, we don't do that. We're not about that. Not in the M2. The M2 is about taking things back to basics and enjoying the thrill of driving instead of spending all your time setting it up. And I also love the simplicity of the interior. Yes, it's probably not as flash as, say, its rivals, but I don't think it's a bad thing. These seats are beautifully comfortable. The steering wheel isn't too chunky, and it's just got a real good ergonomics in here. Everything is exactly where you'd expect it to be. You don't spend 3 hours trying to find the heated seat button because it's literally right there. Right there. And we've also got conventional handbrake. All in all, the M2 is my very favourite car. Now, I know I have to be quite impartial with these things, but everybody has their favourites. Let's be honest, it's like saying you haven't got a favourite child. You love them all, but everybody's got a favourite. And it's the same with this. BMW is a fabulous brand, but I still have my favourite, and it's this. If I could have one car from BMW to drive for the rest of my life, it would be an M2 Competition. I'd have it in Hockenheim silver, and I'd have to have all of the M performance bits on it, with an M2 Plus pack to get you your Harman Kardon and things. But yeah, that to me is it. The perfect car for me.